Hi, this is my initial rant, which I hope eventually can be uh, put into words, right, transposed into a written thing, because I want to do a series of essays for the local newspaper and different subjects and everything, but just have it like this is the words I'm saying right now. I know the English is not correct, but it's getting what I want to get said. Okay, so I want to talk about the current world of dating when you're over 60, essentially. Um, it's very rare that the dice are against you. The odds are, it's like in Dumb and Dumber, you know, 1 in a billion. So you say I have a chance, and it's like, and that's the way it is. It's like when you get people that are so accustomed to their way of life, what is right, what's wrong, and are so quick to judge and throw away, like if they just have the wrong picture, this is the only picture I have is when, but there you go, there's your picture. It's like nobody's going to go for that. It's like it's, that they really, I don't want to go through the pain of another rejection and all the fighting and all the resentment and bitterness that I had with previous relationships. And I totally understand that. I'm an engineer and I've evaluated relationships as far as how to fix them. But what I haven't done, and that's going to be my next thing, is just describe what relationships are and just bring to light, the not so complexity. You see, the just a little preview. There's two distinctive ways of resolving problems from either side. The typical male is to evaluate the situation, make sure you hear everything. It's like the normal thing, and then not to make a decision, but allow other people, a jury of their peers, to stay whether or not this person is guilty. Right? That is the proper way where everybody's happy. Everybody can't be sad. It's chosen by the jury, and they have to be unanimous and all that kind of stuff. It's like, and that's the way it should be. If there's a shred of doubt, if there's that one juror that says no, it's a no. And that's what it should be. There's doubt, in somebody's mind that this person is he's not guilty. I can see where he could be set up to look guilty. Like the whole alleged O.J. Simpson, conspiracy or framing O.J. or framing O.J. I'm in. It could be. It could be. It's happened to me. I mean, it's like I'm sure that there are people all around the world, all around the United States, at least Georgia and Illinois, that think I'm totally crazy. And it's like, and then because we have dramatized the mental health issues that we all have to just, he's crazy. He's crazy. Just because, I've been told my whole life, borderline disorder, personality thing, and bipolar, manic depressive, and everything. And I've laughed at them about that because I am not those things. They see the manic part of me. They never see the depressed part. So only one time, I was like, we talk about, the mental breakdown, had a breakdown, and I fixed myself, and I was better than ever at the end of it. It was like a mental fast is what I'm talking about. I had a nice little rest where I had no responsibilities. My mind had no responsibility. I was just resting in the emergency room, just resting, not eating. I wasn't up, I didn't have my mom making me get up and you're okay, you're okay. No, Meryl just let me go. It was just so beautiful. It's like, I just needed a rest. And remember, Meryl, it's like overnight. And then the next day, around noon, you came by with love in your hand. And that's all I needed. I had a piece of paper that said that if she read it, that, I'm going to read this book. Like, it wasn't a waste of 2 years, because I spent 2 years writing and publishing the book I wrote. And then that's all we did. There wasn't any marketing. Neither one of us are marketers and everything. So we put it out there and did a few things, and it faded away. But those 2 years, ended up with, okay, now I gotta get back to work again. It's like it was going to be. I took 2 years off my retirement, and it'll be successful and be on tours and book signings and all that kind of stuff. And none of that happened yet. But I had to go back to work, and it just got to me that I got fired from the first one because I was too smart. I would say things to dramatize how ignorant they were of a particular subject, financial or whatever. And it was like, it was at the point where I could tell, looking back on it, that it was just one statement that I made that just kind of, and it's dramatized in that one movie that I saw, the secrets to ideas to success, that kind of thing, where it's basically you step over each other and everything. And there's a song that tells exactly about what I'm talking about. It's like the manager saying, if they get too smart and everything, you just kick them out the door. They do it in very interesting ways too. But after the one with the Atlantic, called them the Z Boys, I forgot what their names were. The one starts with Z. And he was a manager because he sold beepers. Yes, he sold beepers. So he was a qualified manager. That's right. He writes memos in childlike, number 2 and the letter U, to, whatever. But being just working my ass off trying to clean up the absolute filthiest books I've ever come across, as far as not making sense and everything. And when I boiled down to it, and it's like, he didn't even think anything about this statement. When I get down, I go, you guys are missing $100,000, period. You guys are missing it. There was an entry here that is basically saying, okay, we got this money in order to reconcile. In fact, there was a transaction in there that was solely so it matches up with the bank. Like $4,000, whatever. This is to match what the bank is, and right there is an example of what I'm talking about as far as relationships, because that is the woman's approach. It's like, oh, we're off that. Well, we just put an entry and we're done. See, we keep going, right? So women in general, when they have to, and they make snap decisions, and then move on. Men are the slow pokes, Now, there's certain situations where you want a woman in charge, right? That's the whole premise of a statement that's made in Jurassic Park, where we'll talk about, women's, reaction to, emergency situations later, because she is totally in control, and that's what you want. You want somebody that's totally in control, make decisions right away when life and death, it's like you can't be in committee when arrows are being thrown at you. It's like, okay, let's wait. That's what a man would do. But a woman, you want a woman in that, but you don't want that type of attitude in the judicial system, as Dana Carvey would call it. You don't want that in the judicial system. But that's what we have now. I've been put in jail, see how many times now? 4. 1 in Washington State, where knowing me, not really knowing the rules or whatever, what was her name? Victoria came home and everything by surprise, thinking that I was going to be, ready to have her and everything. I was in a relationship with another woman. And it's like, and she was unannounced. She didn't say she was going to be in town. She surprised me. She said she was in Texas that very day. And then she sneaks up and opens the door. And sure enough, she sees a calendar with me and who was it at the time? Jeanette up there. And she just absolutely lost it. Now, at the time, I didn't know what a great actor she was, but she was tearing things off the wall and everything. And I was terrified that my new Macintosh laptop was going to be destroyed. So I did for a second there, I adopted the female way of resolving an issue. It's like, okay, and I'm going to do something before she breaks right. She was never going to do that. It's like looking back on it, she was just so dramatic. And she even told me earlier how she would act certain ways. And it's one of those things where if it happened now with what I know, I'll just sit back and start laughing. Are you done? But she did warn me that she took a gun and shot it and ruined, this previous lover had, like some kind of distilling thing or whatever. She shot holes in it with a gun. So what? She knows she knows how to shoot a gun. But again, I was in a scared mode. I was like, my whole life has been, trying to get self-esteem up to a passable level, but that scared me. I called 911. And I'm the one that's talking, saying she's crazy. She's going to hurt me. Please get over here right away. This voice. Right. Okay. Well, I didn't know the circumstances. I thought, they would just wait till the evacuate will tell her stories and everything. I just sat there. And she was just, going, and she heard me calling her once. So she did. She's smart. She knew the system. I didn't. I thought that'd be fair. So they come up to, and she's just rapping her, like don't hurt me and everything. And it's like, and that's what they see. They see a crying woman. I should have immediately just started walking out. And then she probably would have. She would have destroyed something. She would have burned something. So right there and then, I should have just fucked her. I should have just fucked her. Or at least try to give her a hug, She was a big woman in the bedroom. Couldn't. And that part of me got shut down. That's what really pisses me off. That happened like in the early 90s. So it's been 30 some years, right? And it's like, I'm still looking back on it and thinking, gosh, I wish I had that moment again. But anyway, get back to a story. As far as different energies from man and woman. So you see what I'm saying? It's like you put a man in a position where you have to make a split-second decision. They suck at it. They really do. It's dramatized. You have Bruce Willis and all the superheroes, all the super things. No, that's what women would do. Okay, but they aim towards just totally disarming immediately. One way or another. Either pulling the plug, lying their ass off to the right people at the right time and everything in order to get the line. And they're totally justified because they don't want to get hurt. They don't want to get hurt again. Okay? She's always said that I was by far the best sexual partner with her. Even though she would complain to Meryl that, I guess, this according to Meryl, that I don't like giving him a blowjob because he's not looking at me when I do it. And it's like, and it's one of those things where she complains about something where she never tells me, "Hey Joe, I want you to do this." We consider, you understand where I'm, try to be empathetic, Joe, about this. It's like I got none of that. I shut down, and then she complains that a lot of people do that because they want to be nice. And that's what she said. When Martha was a kid, when they asked her what she wants to be when she grows up, everybody else was saying Superman or a president or a nurse or a fireman. She said, "I want to be nice." And she was proudly saying that to me, like one of our many discussions of what's going on with our relationship. And then it suddenly dawns on me, okay, she's trying to be nice. So she always just says, okay. So we never went to Savannah. We never went to New Orleans, even though I know she wanted to go there. All I have to say is, oh, I know, but it's just a long weekend. So let's just take a couple hours, to go to Chattanooga. And she would just say, okay. Like, I can't argue with that because that's what you want, and I want to be nice. Anyway, men take their time to make certain decisions. Women snap decisions. Okay, put those personalities in the right job. Okay, not the wrong job. Politics, political stuff should be done where everything's fair and been done. There's no critical time limit, although, it's supposed to be a speedy trial and everything. We get the right, and you have all this document to show why they made a certain decision. Women, on the other hand, they solely right there at that moment that they had to make the decision, just like what happened with me. It's like Martha, she didn't make it, so she did everything. She lied. She was brilliant, and Holly Hughes, the judge, in my bail hearing when I first got to jail, where she was the one that Martha talked to. She said that, and again, I was told just keep my mouth shut from my defendant lawyers. Oh, just keep your mouth shut. We'll do all the talking and everything. And they would argue about these little things. After the judge took over, I don't want to sign the TPO on this. You know what she said to me? She said that you said that you're going to keep the house immaculate and I'm going to homeschool kids, or else I'm going to kill you. That's what you said. That's what you said. And it's like that was one of the options. Okay, it's like, and I keep my mouth shut because I'm laughing inside because it's like after we found out we were having our first child, it's like we had the talk of, the talk that we should have had before we got married, period. It's one of those, kids, listen to me here. Kids, right. People that are thinking about getting married or currently married, they can, when you're young, you can easily resolve this. Just make sure that you're on the same page. If you're not on the same page and none of them wants to move, then you're not meant to be with each other, period. If my idea of a perfect life or whatever it would be for me to provide the money needed that will provide the things that my family and I can't provide for ourselves in the home. And the woman's job is to nurture children, keep the house clean, homeschool them. That's her job. It's not working your ass off over here to earn enough money for that. But the thing is, she was not held accountable. I could tell that she was nice. Maybe it wasn't that moment, but I never seen a bigger smile on that woman's face when it was after a Thanksgiving night encounter, first time with a little gentleman named Jägermeister, and I loved it. And the last time I've ever been drunk, I guess, but I wake up the next morning just like I was in college with the dry mouth and but I'm smiling because it's like it reminds me of last night. But it's something that you don't want to be disturbed when you're starting to wake up, and the very moment that I was thinking that this is gonna be a nice morning, because it's like it's the Friday after Thanksgiving or whatever, the Saturday after Friday or whatever it was. It's one of those great things because it's the drunk on Thursday on Thanksgiving night, because then you got all day Friday to recover and Saturday, and then you're fine by Sunday and you go into it. She hits me right off the bat. I'm laying in bed smiling. I get this big face and the teeth I've never seen before, and she's crying. She goes, "Joe, I bragged that." Screamed it. Whoa, what a way to learn that you're going to be a father, right? Oh my gosh. But the thing is, I've always looked back at that moment and the tears and okay, sue me if I'm wrong here, but hear me out. The smile and everything was basically saying, I don't have to put up with your shit anymore. I don't have to be nice anymore. And like for the first time, she let her resentment and everything pass, explode. All this bent up resentment of, I want to go, I never go to New Orleans. I never go here, and he never does this, like I'm supposed to know that she likes it like this, or she wants me to make it better. I'm supposed to. Doesn't he know that you're supposed to learn about each other, learn about China, and going on Saturday and Sunday morning drives? Everybody does that. And that's a term that she uses over and over again. Everybody does that, or everybody knows that, is what she likes to say. But anyway, no big deal. It's all in the past. It got me to where I'm at right now, right? So, but that's what it was, because and it's almost like, my ears are looking for an answer, and I know when I hear it, and that was it. It was like she just spoke a little bit about it. Okay, that gives me the answer of why everything just went to hell in a heartbeat, because she didn't have to be nice anymore. She couldn't be fired. She couldn't be anything. And she had years of this resentment built up. And every chance she could, she's still trying to even the score by being as lazy as possible, not doing anything all day, probably just sitting around getting high or whatever, or screwing the neighbors, or, because, whatever. I wasn't around. And as far as keeping the house immaculate, whenever I'd go over there to babysit so she can go on her little things or whatever, every horizontal place had junk on it. Okay. Every horizontal spot had junk on it. Not food, just junk. It's like the kids would play, and instead of making them put it away, everything would be on the table. But so as far as keeping the house immaculate, okay. It's just the opposite of what I said. And she did. She purposely made it just the opposite of what I wanted, because she had all this resentment from doing exactly only what I wanted to do. There was no discussion. We didn't have a nice free-for-all discussion like, okay, but you understand that, in New Orleans, you get to do this and stuff like that. Come on. We got a long weekend, or whatever. We got make 5 days, And it's like, I could have been convinced easily of that, but she never had that in her to just confront me and just say, okay, this is my idea. We're going to go back and forth. She didn't think it would be like this. She thought that, okay, I'm going to be nice my whole life. So it's like, whatever you want, I'll do it. That's not being nice to me. Being nice to me is to tell me what you want. Anyway, I think that's enough. Where are we at? Okay, this is my first time I've ever done this. Okay, 23 minutes. I don't know. I'm sorry for the cussing, but you can understand where I'm coming from on that. But this is going to be cool to actually describe what relationships should be. And we're talking about relationships between a person and another person, or a person and a person that they're, okay, I'm going to decide whether you're guilty or not. Okay, you're guilty. Bye. You're guilty enough to hold for a court trial, which took 5 months to happen. And meanwhile, I'm in jail. Now, isn't there, I should sue the state of Georgia, right? No, let's do that. I'm going to do a small claims court suing of the state of Georgia and get $15,000. I'm going to get, well, it's 50,000 Canadian dollars from Ontario, translated into United States money is 36,000. That's not too bad. From business that doesn't know about small claims court, I guess, or doesn't care. So maybe it comes from the provincial government or whatever. It's like, okay, if you're found guilty, I don't know how that works, but there's a lot of people that say, go ahead and go small claims court. I'll say I can't afford it, or whatever. It's not they can't force me to do anything, but at least it'll be official through them, and they will hold me responsible if I don't. You don't have to do that job, or whatever. Okay, we're about 25, so Adios.